They are weak, but he is strong.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Oh, it's Mr. Jeski. I'll see you guys later. Love you guys.
Yes.
I have a hard time walking in because my office, the hallways, the gyms, the playgrounds are absolutely silent. And it's hard to believe that we're now in week 5 of the mandated closure, and the normal energy, bustle, quiet hum of kids learning is just not here. And it is eerily quiet. As you probably know, the Safer at Home order has now been extended through May 26th, and schools have been mandated to shut throughout the remainder of the school year. This makes it all the more urgent that we work like crazy to make sure that all of our students, from the very youngest in kindergarten through to our 8th graders who are getting ready to graduate, continue to learn so that they're ready and prepared for the next academic year. As I'm sure you can imagine, the COVID-19 pandemic has brought some very real hardships to some of our families. We've had a handful of families who have actually had infections in the immediate family, and I'm relieved to be able to tell you that nobody in the St. Marcus family has passed away from the disease. Secondly, huge financial ramifications, particularly for single parents who may have been the only breadwinner in the family, and many of whom have now been laid off from their work. Thirdly, just the stresses and the strain of having children at home all day, every day, with very little support, and parents needing to be on the front lines of educating their children. One of the things that I find most sad about the current situation is that it's predominantly going to be poor urban kids who suffer the most, especially given how significantly the virus impacted the African American community. And just as we felt urgent and have felt urgent for decades now to close the achievement gap between Black and white students, it's now even more urgent because we know that the children whom we serve are likely to suffer more than those from more affluent families. On a more positive note, it's very, very clear to me and to the staff here at St. Marcus how much you understand about the challenges that our families are facing, because you have been incredibly supportive. And I want to extend a huge, deep level of gratitude to you. Many of you have called and asked how you can help. Some of you have supported the relief fund that we set up to meet the needs of some of our families who are struggling the most. And a lot of you have continued to support us financially so that we can make sure that the teachers are equipped with everything that they need to deliver excellent instruction to our students. One of the supports that I'm most proud of are the supports that we've been able to provide to our special needs students, some of whom need one-to-one instruction. And because of your support, we've been able to provide a really high level of support to the kids who are the neediest. So a huge thank you to you for sticking with us, for standing by us. Thank you not just for your financial support, but for your prayers and for your emotional support. You have no idea how much it means to us that you have been so generous. Thank you. As you know, throughout all of this, we've been staying in touch with students and families, teachers, support teachers, and administrators, regularly reaching out to see how kids and families are doing and making sure that they're engaged in the learning process. Hilariously, I've had some emails from some students. A 7th grade young lady comes to mind who's actually spent a good deal of time this year in this office being counseled and cajoled to continue her learning. And she wrote to me recently begging that school could resume late in April. It's funny, it's endearing, it's also heartbreaking how much our kids value and love school, and not having the opportunity to be here is really quite hard. Some changes have been hard to digest, and there continue to be some significant question marks. Our 5th and 6th graders, for example, had already written their Discover America sponsorship letters, and they were all fired up to get ready to travel around Wisconsin and to follow the Lewis and Clark expedition to South Dakota. Unfortunately, we've now had to cancel those trips, and we're wrestling with how to honor those students who had worked hard to earn the privilege of traveling in the Discover America program. Secondly, there's graduation. Some of the kiddos who were set to walk across the stage on June 6th have been in this building for 10 years, almost their whole lives. How do we celebrate them? How do we thank them? And how do we send them off to high school with an appropriate closure from their elementary and middle school years? These are big questions. A third one would be summer school. We're not even sure what the state is going to support or allow in terms of summer instruction. So our team is working like crazy to figure out what's best for kids, what's best for families, and how do we make sure that the critical learning process continues now and throughout the summer. In closing, I just again want to thank you. Thank you for helping to build this place. Thank you for helping to sustain it. And thank you during these challenging times for praying for us and for continuing to be so supportive. It's ironic to me that in our main gym on the stage, there's a big sign that says joyful noise. And even though our buildings right now are literally silent, we know that at some point, certainly by the beginning of next school year, the noise will return. The noise, the joy of kids learning, of kids thriving in a school environment where they're safe, they're loved, they're challenged, and they're supported by this huge St. Marcus community. Thank you for helping us prepare to restore that joyful noise.
Yes, Jesus was free.